Hey guys, what's up? It's all things MTG here today. I'm back with another deck tech. Uh, as we all know that all the Amonkhet, the whole set has been spoiled. So, and we've got, and here is a deck for the coming up Amonkhet standard. And I'm pretty sure it's actually really, yeah, really. You can get this for like $15, very cheap. Um, and it's going to be red white aggro is what I've been looking at. So red white aggro, once it's an aggro deck, really what you want to do is you just want to play creatures really fast and overwhelm them pretty much. This aggro deck actually doesn't have much one drops. Um, so pretty much most of it is 2 drops, and the highest is 3 drop. There's only, yeah, the highest is 3 drop, and we're actually running uh, 25 creatures. 25 creatures, and the rest are pretty much buff spells. Um, come back to converted mana cost here. Coming up with the 1 drops, we're running 6 1 drops. It's not very much for an aggro deck, but the 2 drops are really what packs the punch. Early game, we really want to win as quick as we can. We're terrible in the late game. In the late game, your opponent's gonna get all of this stuff, and they're just gonna be able to pretty much answer what we've got. So, starting off, we've got Expedition Envoy, the 1 mana 2/1, just for like turn 1 planes, and you play this. That's really good. And we've got this. Actually, no, we've got this Village Messenger. Actually, that should also be a Village Messenger. There should be 2 Village Messengers. Let's quickly fix that. Village Messenger. I always spelled village wrong. VILH. Yeah, Village Messenger. Yeah, there we go. 2 Village Messengers once again, but this time it's a 1 mana 1/1, but it has haste, so we can turn 1 Village Messenger and attack. Okay, 2 drops. 2 drops are really our main things what we want. Battlefield Scavenger. Actually, a lot of our cards actually exert. So this is gives us card advantage. Gives us some card advantage in these colors, which we're really lacking. Just in case of a another deck that might that we're facing might need, well, we might need to draw and get more creatures on the board. Next we have Gustwalker, 2 mana 2/2, but when you cast it, you can exert it, and when you do, it gets +1/+1 in flying, so it's pretty much 2 mana 3/3 with flying, which is really great. This can swing some as we get onto our buff things. This can swing for a lot. Another exert creature, a 2 mana 2/1 with trample. When you exert it, it will gain +1/+2 when it until end of turn. So once again, it buffs himself. It's pretty much a 3/3 again, once again, but this time it doesn't fly. But with trample, this thing can get really big sometimes. And of course, one of the 3 drops, we've got this, once again, another exert creature, but a 3 mana 3/1, but it has exert +1 and gains first strike. First strike is also really important when your opponent's got things like got big, tough, higher power. You don't want to trade. You can exert and first strike, really forcing your opponent to not block it and get through with the damage. Here we've got another 2-drop. This is actually a really important part of our deck itself. A 2 mana, one red and 1 white for a 3/2, and whenever it attacks, other attacking creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. And so this is actually really one of our main ways to buff. So when we have like, I don't know, 4 creatures on the board, and this is one of them, we attack with everything. Everything else is getting a buff. That's extra 3 damage, which can be a lot sometimes when you're plussing with the exerting, exert there, exert. That's really, really big and really important. You'll see that we don't have a single card that's over 3 mana because we once again we want to be fast. Here we've got the trials. Once again, vigilance. Vigilance is a really key part of this card because once again the exert. They don't untap. So if they gain vigilance, they don't tap, but you can still exert, so it can still attack the turn after, which is really good because that's a vigilance 3/3s, sometimes mostly 4/3s actually, 4/3s swinging. That's around with this buff as well. That's around 10 damage. With as early as turn 3. As early as turn 3, mostly turn 4, but once again that's 3 damage. Here's we've got the red trial. This is actually one of the burn spells. Once again, a burn spell, 3 mana. You really, this is probably most likely going to be hitting the player for the final little bit of damage that you just need to get through when you're, in the turn 6 or 7. Your opponent's kind of flooding the board now, but you've already put them on low damage. Here's your burn spell. You're going to finish them off with burn. With the trials, we're obviously going to need cartouches. Here we've got the white and red one. The white one is really, really good because it gives you a 1/1 creature warrior token, but it has vigilance. Once again, vigilance is really good as a key part of what we're needing. So what we can do is we can turn 1 Expedition Envoy, turn 2 Cartouche, targeting Expedition Envoy, and get a 1/1 swing for 3 on turn 2, and sometimes even cast a Village Messenger and swing for 4 on turn 2, and also of course brings one of this back to our hands for a future, if we did it in the late game, not late game, like mid game, where we need to give us more buffs. And the red Cartouche enters the battlefield, target creature can't block, which is really great, just so good. Target creature can't block, so your opponent's gonna be like, I don't know, creature, I guess. You're probably gonna have this, actually, oh no, I don't know, this maybe, and you're gonna like turn 3, I guess. Turn 3, you can cast it, and then you cartouche targeting it, gains haste, swing, exert. That's a 4. That's a 4, I think. 4/4. She's +1, 3, 3/2 plus, yeah, it's a 4/4. It's a 4/4 that's swinging with trample. Remember, with trample. Trample is really a key part of this card. This is really why we're running. And at common, to be honest, at common, this is why the deck's so cheap. I don't even think there's a rare at all. There is no rares. It's just cheap cards. Yeah. So, coming to lands, 18 lands, 9 mountains, 9 plains. Once again, we're really low on mana curve. We don't really need that many lands until game 2 when we're actually boarding in things. So, talking about boarding, let's go to the sideboard here. We've got our instance, we've got Fling. Once again, it's normally just to get in for that final damage after combat attack, and then you fling for game. I say, like, for example, this can become a 4/4 swing for 4. You say your opponent's on 8, you swing for 4, he goes on 4, and you fling it at him for final damage. It's really good against control decks sometimes. Control decks, when they're answering, you're gonna be like, oh no, fling it at you and take damage. Here we've got the flip. We've got the flip card. The other one, the right one, we don't really want a board wipe, so that's why we're not having it. One copy of this. This is actually gonna provide a big part. Pretty much, once again, when you're dealing with late game, sometimes late game, you can get a plus. Once again, when this is a 4/4, it's getting +4 +0. Remember, this is becoming an 8/4, which is huge when you're comparing to other cards. And victory. Target creature gets double strike until end of turn. Double strike is also really good. Once again, this, for example, if it is a 4/4, double strike. Once again, 8 damage straight at him. Especially trample. It's gonna be hard to get past trample. 4 copies of galvanic bombardment. Against other aggro decks, your other aggro decks are just gonna out-aggro us. We don't want that. So what we want, like, let's say the vehicle deck, for example, they're gonna toolcraft exemplar, and we're just gonna we can bombardment in response. So you're like, no. We're just gonna be trying to stop them. Also, bigger the rest of the sideboard cards are just big threats that we can board in if we're up against things like late game. Sometimes game 2, if you're up against a control deck, he's probably gonna board in all the removal. So in the early game, he's gonna removal out you. So we're gonna be going to the late game anyways. So you might as well board in late game big threats. Here we've got our threats here. First, this one, it's a flip card, becomes up 5. There we go, flipped, becomes this. Menace, once again, Menace on this is really big. Really huge. Menace is really hard to deal with sometimes. Okay, so 5 mana 5/4 is still at common levels, so it's just really great. This thing, not this thing, but this, when it comes in, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. So come in, shocks them, and then next turn 4/4 with trample. Once again, trample is a really important keyword in here. Trample is a really important keyword. And then we've got Shatter Skull Recruit. Once again, a menace. Really hard to deal with menace sometimes. Not dealing with like answers. I mean, as when in combat, if it's gonna be hard to block this. You're gonna need to double block it. I forgot to tell, but if you don't know what menace is, it's just this creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures by double blocking. Here we've got this pass. Once again, a 5 mana 4/4 with trample. Trample, major keyword in this. It's really good. It can get buffed 3 times by red. You can transform it. It's kind of hard to transform this because of how many low lands, but sometimes you can actually transform. When you do get this transformed, it's really great. This is what it is. It's a thing that can get buffed, but this time it doesn't minus itself, and it's for anything. It has once again trample, really big. So that's the deck for you guys. Once again, our game plan is to early game rush out with creatures, buff everything, attack, and then try and kill them before they gain control, because we are really strong during turns 3 and 4. We're really strong during those turns. So what we're looking for is a turn 1 envoy if you can. Turn 1 envoy, turn 2 Necrop, turn 3 this, attack for a lot. Actually, turn 3 this, and then Cartouche, giving it haste, attack for a lot, exert it, and that's a lot of damage on turn 3. So if we can do this, if our game plan works out, we can actually win pretty fast, as quick as turn 6 or 7, I say. 5 sometimes, turn 5 sometimes, when you're super lucky with your draws and your opponents. It doesn't mean you're just gonna out aggro him. So what you really don't want to be facing with this deck is another aggro deck, because if they are running a lot of 1-drops, they're just gonna out aggro you. You're just not gonna be able to be faster than them. What you really want to face is a is a control deck on game 1. A control deck, a really slow control deck, what you would obviously just out aggro them, and it'll just really great. Any slow deck, you will be great against them because you'll just out aggro. I versed a really slow deck, well, not really slow, control deck actually, and he was fairly slow, and I won on turn 6 because he had nothing. He just had nothing yet. All he did was Glimmer. That's it. All he did was turn 4 Glimmer. Couldn't find it on turn on turn 6. I won game 1. In game 2, I bought it in creatures. The big creatures, of course, because he's obviously gonna be coming in with a big removal, and it actually worked out because early game, I brought him to 10 early game because of the quick, and he started removal. In the late game, he started playing his things, but I started drawing my threats, and boom, and I actually flew this thing at the guy with fling for game. So that was, this is what you want. This is budget white red aggro. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. The deck list will be on Tapped Out, and the link will be down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, and if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.